Great to have you with us here on the BP Supercars All Stars Eseries. We have had so much fun tonight. The good news is there's still one race to go. Race wins to Shane Van Gisbergen and Fabian Coulthard so far tonight. Who will take out race 10 of this E-Series Championship? As we get set for tonight's final race, let's cross to Will Power. Hey, Will, how are you faring tonight? You having fun?
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. Got roughed up a bit in that race. Gears put me in the wall, but it's good. I'm enjoying it. Just try to be clean. So we'll see what happens this next one. We got 2 pit stops, and if you keep it clean, man, you can make up so many positions. There's a lot of people hitting walls and making mistakes and going for big moves. So you just got to keep your nose clean.
It's been pretty colourful over the radio tonight too. A few choice words for Shane Van Gisbergen in that last one.
Yeah, I was trying to wind him up as much as possible, make him feel bad for taking me out, but it's all a part of this iRacing thing. It happens, and in fact, it probably isn't too much his fault, because when you're on a different server like the US, it happens to McLaughlin in our races, you get the net code thing. So he probably didn't even touch me and put me in the wall. Well,
we've loved every minute of it. Don't worry. It's been a lot of fun. You've obviously been racing in the IndyCar E-Series. Just tell us how our Supercars E-Series compares to that.
It's awesome. I'm really enjoying it. The tyres degrade. You got to be very smart with your strategy because of that. And the racing's great. Obviously, you can follow a lot closer in these cars than you can in the IndyCar, and that makes for a lot of action. So, yeah, loving it. I really, really enjoy driving these cars. It's really cool.
Well, we love having you part of tonight, and we hope that you'll be back for some more rounds in this E-Series. Out of 11th in race 10, go get them. Thanks for talking to us. Have fun.
Absolutely. Thank you. Cheers.
Will Power, as I said, starting from 11th on the grid in race 10. A longer race to finish us off tonight. So for all the vital stats, let's get to Neil Crompton in the Hino Hub.
This one's going to be 14 laps, Jess. Approximately 30 minutes. In fact, it'll be 14 laps or 30 minutes max as a time certain race. 86.9 kilometres roughly in terms of the total distance. Now, the things that really matter here, as you can see on screen, there'll be a couple of stops for fuel and tyres. This one's worth more. It's double points, 150 of them. Weather's the same as it was through the previous races for iRacing this evening. And the predicted windows, according to the theory, the first stop between 2 and 5, the second between 8 and 10. So some complexity in this one for everybody to get their thoughts around, and the spotters and engineers will be working very hard.
Indeed they will. Let's cross now to Andre Heimgartner, who's on the line. Hey, Andre, how are you faring tonight?
Oh, sorry, that might help. Push the button. Just used to talking.
Start again.
But yeah, it worked out all right, actually. First race wasn't, too good. We got caught up in some stuff, and then I just spun myself. And the second one was interesting. Lots of carnage going everywhere. But I broke up my top 10 run in that first one. But back in the top 10 for the next one, and we'll see what this one has to offer.
Yeah, so what's the strategy? Because it's absolute carnage on the opening lap.
Yeah, I think it's just staying out of trouble, which is easier said than done. But, I don't know. Any strategy you have goes out the window. So I don't think there's really much point of having it. It's sort of a bit of see how it goes and see where you end up, I think.
It was really interesting talking to all of the drivers in round one. Everyone was kind of approaching it as a bit of fun, but the elbows are out now. The competitive juices are really flowing amongst all of our championship drivers, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. This is fully serious now. Anyone that says that they're just having a bit of fun that's in the top 15, I think they're lying. But the amount of time we've spent on this thing and the stuff we've done, I think next week I'm going to put a little less effort in, just because you tend to overcommit sometimes and do your own head in when you get some bad results. But yeah, overall, really good fun, and I think it's really heading out to be a good championship and some good fun.
It is a great relief for all of us just to be able to engage with our championship drivers. Andre, have fun tonight.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at the Truck Assist starting grid. Fabian Coulthard out of pole position. Matty having sewn up the last race. So we have a fair bit of pressure on him in this one, though.
Came into this championship in 7th position, had a 29th in the first race this evening, and then, of course, has backed it up with victory. So another good haul of points. He'll have Cam Waters alongside him. Will Davison and Scotty McLaughlin rode too. Scotty started position 23. 3 wins so far for Shane Van Gisbergen out of the 9 that we've had in the BP Supercars All Stars E-Series. There's Andre Heimgartner, position 9 for the Ned Racer. The Yuasa Batteries entry of Brody Kostecki also inside the top 10. Hasn't it been fantastic to get in touch with Will Power on the other side of the world? It's early morning for him, but he's going to have a sleep after this and just see how much he's enjoyed this form of racing around, of course, one of the, if not the most iconic circuit that we have. Thomas Randall and Mark Winterbottom, 17 and 18. There's Jake Kostecki and Nick Percat in 20th position. Jack LeBrock got caught up in some drama down the chase there. Todd Hazelwood from position 22. Jamie Whincup, also big drama. Jack Smith found the wall hard in race number 9. Anton Di Pasquale, unlikely to see him down there too often this season. Simona Di Silvestro has had her hands full over there in Zurich, but she keeps punching away. And last on the grid for the final race this evening, a 14-lapper, race 10 of the BP Supercars All Stars E-Series. On your Truck Assist starting grid will be Rick Kelly. There's our race winner. So 6 different race winners out of 9 races so far. That shows a pretty competitive field that we've got going here. I like what Jamie Whincup said to you, Jess, earlier in the week. I like everyone. He said, I thought, yeah, this is a bit of a game, remember, in round 1. And then he said after last week, and he woke up on Thursday morning, he was dirty because he was now starting to see those results. All the sims are getting better. All the competitors and competitiveness is getting higher. They do not like losing. Doesn't matter what form it is, these guys.
They're getting new rigs, new steering wheels, new pedals, new computers, new graphics, monitors. There's Whincup. He's been hard into the credit card trying to make sure that he's got all the right gear as well. Mark Winterbottom for Irwin Racing on screen down in Melbourne for Charlie Schwerkolt. Bathurst winner Rick Kelly. He's had the saw out and made the homemade sim. Done a nice job of it as well, but he's even got some new gear as well. We had a lot of fun with him earlier in the week in conversation. They're racing at Bathurst. What an unbelievable location. Macaulay Jones, Cool Drive on screen. He's got his race face on there. Even the mouse looks fast. Chris Pither, Coca-Cola Racing, Team Sydney.
That was Mac's glasses. I mean, he sports them anyway, right? But
got the safety goggles on.
What is it? It's 20 past 8.
That means his elbows are working so hard there must be sparks flying. Todd Hazelwood, Plus Fitness entry. He drives for Brad Jones Racing, and he's done a great job of preparing that little rig as well. Chaz Mostert, car number 25 for Mobile One and Appliances Online, and he came into tonight's round in a very strong position in 4th in the championship as the field lines up. This is the location where the Australian Grand Prix was held in 38, 47, 52 and 58. But we know it for magnificent touring car racing that began here in 1963, and a fine tradition. We're stranded under awkward circumstances all around the planet at the moment, but we're still enjoying our supercar racing, and we're doing it through iRacing. And now we've got 14 laps of the BP Supercars All Stars E-Series to round out our evening of competition. All of our regular supercar drivers joined by some superstars internationally, Will Power and Simona Di Silvestro, together with some Dunlop Super 2 drivers in Brody Kostecki and Thomas Randall. There will be 2 stops in this one. Check the lights up on the top left-hand corner of screen. Fabian Coulthard off the front row from Cam Waters behind him, then Will Davison and Scott McLaughlin. They've now done a lot of laps. They know what to expect. They've got cold tyres. Look at Van Gisbergen diving down the inside in the background, but a great job by Fabian off the line.
Van Gisbergen made slight contact with Davey Reynolds, not as big as I think that's Macaulay Jones shooting off. Yep, so Shane Van Gisbergen, a ripper start, slight contact with Davey, but no outcome badly for that, and a great start too for Fabian Coulthard.
Fifth gear, 260 kilometres an hour on the run in there with a warm tyre. It'll be slightly down from a cold start. David Reynolds gets turned off turn 2, straight into the wall. This will trigger some chaos down the order. Van Gisbergen has a look up the inside of Heimgartner and his fellow Kiwi. He couldn't get the nose up there. So it's Coulthard, Waters, McLaughlin has now moved up into 3rd spot. Did Reynolds survive all of the carnage, and did everybody manage to get around? Andre was very wide through the metal grate up at Reed Park, but he managed to just wrestle it off the concrete wall. It's the shot looking at the crest. That's Alex Davison, who had that monumental shunt the previous race. Jack Smith's carrying damage. Anton De Pasquale's tucked in behind him. It's Coulthard, Waters, McLaughlin, Davison, Goddard, Heimgartner, Van Gisbergen, Kostecki. Willpower is ninth, and then Lee Holdsworth. This is Kostecki in trouble with one of the Red Bull cars. I think it was Whincup who actually made the wall, and Jack Smith as well. So Jamie's eaten more concrete tonight.
So too is Jack. He had a big one in the previous race. Riding on board down Conrod Straight. Position number 8 for Brodie Kostecki. Yet again, he's got Shane Van Gisbergen in his sights. Ahead of them is Andre Heimgartner and Zane Goddard. Fabian Coulthard a 2.2 second lead as he looks to complete the first of 14 laps. Down to Murray's. So a couple of them dive in early. Van Gisbergen's won. Brodie's gone with him. And so too is Willpower. Oh, that's a hell of a way to get in to pit lane and activate that pit lane speed limiter down to 50 kilometres an hour. Nice move, the Ned Racer of Andre Heimgartner.
So this is for the first of 2 compulsory stops for this evening. In the foreground, it's Van Gisbergen. Chris Pither in the background. Car number 56 is Kostecki. Willpower, the Verizon entry. For those that don't know, a big US telecommunications company regularly partnering Willpower in his IndyCar Championship Series. Heimgartner, car number 7 for Ned Racing, and Kelly Racing Organisation is on screen, car number 7. So Coulthard over McLaughlin, who stayed out, and Cam Waters. Remember that there's transit time through the lane plus the time it takes to put the tyres on. Now they do need a little bit more fuel than they were given to start with, so they were starting with 65 litres. They require 69, Matty, to be able to get this race done, but the reality is that you've got the time covered to get the fuel into the car, putting the wheels and tyres on. Goddard on screen, car number 34. Zane Goddard is in 6th position for Unit and for Matt Stone Racing. That's the black and gold car in the foreground, and he's got the vastly experienced Lee Holdsworth behind him, who's been on the podium here back in 2009 in 3rd place.
16 starts at the Bathurst 1000 for Lethal. 09 up there with Michael Crusoe, as you mentioned. He was 9th last year with Thomas Randall, who's fighting away in this race, and Thomas is in position number 9. So just a couple back from the truck assist Mustang of Lee Holdsworth. Our Pertec pit reporters, Chad Naylon, Jonathan Swan, watching on lap 2. What do you got, guys?
Well, we got more guys heading to the lane, and is that Gary Jacobson making the world's latest decision to avoid it? One of the big advantages, Jonathan, that may go unspoken about with the early pit stop coming on lap 1 is if we did get a safety car, remember back to Monza, IndyCar style rule book means they could get a huge free kick.
Exactly, so you want to pit before that safety car comes out, and the reason you're seeing drivers come in before the window is to avoid the traffic, just like race number 2, Chad. So they're going to have a long way to run on this set of rubber, but I think what we saw from race 2 is track position is more important than how long this rubber lasts.
So the basic strategy at the moment is if the safety car was to come out, a Vodafone safety car would certainly be an advantage to those who have pitted on lap 1, and certainly all about keeping that clean air for those guys that pitted early.
It's a good point, because the rules in iRacing dictate that the pit lane closes. That does not happen in the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship. As we go back up to the top of the hill, Fabian Coulthard from his teammate Scott McLaughlin, they've got about half a second margin, first to second at the moment. They've not yet stopped, nor has Cam Waters, Andre Heimgartner, Lee Holdsworth. Roughly about half the field at the moment. You go all the way down to Jack Smith, who's 13th in the SCT Logistics, Brad Jones Racing, Holden Commodore. And then first in the queue that has stopped is Shane Van Gisbergen, the first of 2 stops for this evening. Dunlop curb cam at the dipper. It's a wild ride through there. In reality, in second gear, it's just a little over 80 kilometres an hour. McDonald's fastest lap for Andre Heimgartner. Now, was that just a bit of background noise, or did he actually thump the inside wall there at Forest Elbow? Holdsworth in the foreground from Gary Jacobson, who just recently had ankle surgery. In reality, it wasn't virtual, and it had real pain, not virtual. And then car number 49 tucked in behind him.
He had some virtual pain in that last race. He did. Right about here, in fact.
So this is Thomas Randall, car number 49, who's driving for Sky Sands with backing from Rusty French. And is that Sands rear wing? It is. So that's not going to be a particularly pleasant thing to drive at the moment. So a button needs to be pushed there in the stop. Resurrect the aero balance on that car. Van Gisbergen in the foreground. Then Brodie Kostecki with Will Davison.
Scott McLaughlin and Cam Waters have also gone into pit lane. So we saw the three that we were following dive in. Ahead of them, some of the race leaders have gone in. Bunnings Trade, Power Pass, Power Play. On the inside here, Thomas Randall, the Sky Sands entry. Beautifully and cleanly done on Gary Jacobson. But then within the blink of an eye, they were all into pit lane.
And to do that without a rear wing was impressive. Because in reality, if you tried to tackle that left-hander at the bottom of the chase, that kind of situation, it'd be pretty gruesome. So Thomas was cheeky on the pit lane exit there, thinking he might be able to sneak around. And under normal circumstances, the Motorsport Australia race director, Tim Schenken, briefs everybody early in the week about driving to the right of that line, and there's a little plastic floppy there, and if you were to do that in reality, you'll get an immediate pit lane drive-through penalty. Car number 34 down the inside, and Chad was right before when he talked about Gary Jacobson making a late call to avoid stopping. What he's doing is exactly what Jonathan was talking about before, whether it be in pit lane entry, exit, or on the racetrack. The last thing that you need to do in virtual and real racing is tangle with somebody else if there's a way to avoid it. Speaking of tangling, Gary getting all crossed up on the exit out of turn 4 at the cutting. He's got a couple more spots. It's pretty wild back in the pack here at the moment, Matty.
You want to get out of that, wouldn't you? So the first of these to pit, first of the field to pit, is Scott McLaughlin, the first in order I'm talking about. So Scott down in 8th position. He's your effective race leader at the moment. At the moment, 1 through to 7 yet to pit. He's got a bit of a handful. The yellow cover entry of Gary Jacobson. He's been in the thick of it tonight. Will Davison's had a good night, but now he's spun around. Nowhere to go at the elbow for Will Power, except straight into the other Will. And quite a few others arriving down there on the scene will find trouble. Wow. So poor old Will Power comes flying down at the elbow. He finds the man who he was runner-up to back in 2001 in the Australian Formula 4 Championship and could do nothing but slam straight into him. So big damage on the Verizon entry of an Indy 500 winner who's joined us this evening and is having an absolute ball.
He had nowhere to go, unfortunately. He's been a great motor racing export story, Will Power, and this is a great battle. Thomas Randall and Zane Goddard at the final corner. Murray's corner, and all locked up and sideways and trying to steal each other's road at the moment. And Thomas gets down the inside, gets it done. And before he left Australia, Will actually became the Australian driving champion, driving a Formula Holden, and then battled hard in Europe to make a name for himself. Got an opportunity in 2005 to drive a champ car, drove for Team Australia, and ultimately found his way into the Penske organisation and has had an amazing international career. So all credit to him. So, big shunt into turn 2. Now, was that Kostecki? Or no, I think it was Kostecki.
Car 344.
Yeah, it was.
So Jake Kostecki.
I looked up and saw the thing spinning like a top into the barrier there at turn 2. BP Ultimate Replay tells a little bit more of the story. And so this is into Forest Elbow, Cam Waters and Will Davison. This is what tripped up Will Power, who has nowhere to go in the middle of the corner and virtually rips the front off the car.
So, I wonder if Jake Kostecki got a little bit of damage done to his car in that incident as well. There was one of the Matt Stone races came in. So our race leader at the moment, Todd Hazelwood over Simona Di Silvestro, yet to pit.
Great view of Mount Panorama from the chopper cam. And we're looking forward to hopefully going back there in October 2020 for a resumption of play in the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship. We've had extraordinary racing there for the last decade or more. Harvey Norman backing the Mustang being driven by Simona Di Silvestro this evening, and they were long-time supporters of Simona in the period while she was driving the Nissan for Todd Kelly and Kelly Racing. So car number 78 comes in for a stop. Now, everybody down to position 22. Jack Smith has taken a stop, but Chaz Mostert's actually the first in the field that's taken his 2 stops, and as has Anton Di Pasquale. So strategy is important to manage here. Our race leader is McLaughlin. He's taken 1 stop, and so Shane Van Gisbergen. There's only 3/4 of a second between them. So nice clean Pertec pit stop there for Simona. She gets that done nice and easily. And cars number 99 and 25, Anton Di Pasquale and Chaz Mostert, side by side in the run to Murray's Corner. Chaz on the dirty side of the road, not the ideal approach line to that corner. He's got Will Power threatening down the inside here as well. Will also had the opportunity to test a Minardi Formula 1 car back in 2004, and Will gets tangled with Chaz Mostert on the run into 1 under brakes. Anton is an unwilling participant in all of that. More damage for the 3 of those guys, all of them looking bruised and battered. So that's going to have a pretty significant impact on Anton's position in the series and Chaz, both of which are front-running contenders coming into the round.
And as you pointed out, both of which had already taken their second compulsory pit stop. So it was a clean run home for those guys, operating on a different strategy to the likes of Scott McLaughlin and Shane Van Gisbergen. Mobil 1 entry is all battered and bruised of Chaz Mostert.
McLaughlin over Van Gisbergen, Brody Kostecki in 3rd position at the moment. He's only just a whisker behind them. Oh, Todd Hazelwood thought about trying to make a move on Bryce Fullwood. So Bryce did an amazing job here in the Bathurst 250 last year, only to have that victory taken away from him for having done a quick lap on that last lap of the race. And he's earned his way in the Middies car into the full-time main game field in 2020. McLaughlin, Van Gisbergen, Kostecki 1, 2 and 3. Then Coulthard, Waters, Heimgartner to 6. Then Randall, Goddard, Holdsworth and Jacobson. That's the 10. First car that's actually done 2 stops is Will Power down in 22nd at the moment. And a little nose-to-tail action there between Todd Hazelwood and Bryce Fullwood once again. Nick Percat in this game too. Lap 7 of 14, our final race at Mount Panorama this evening, BP Supercars All Stars E-Series. 2 compulsory stops have been completed by about 1/3 of the field. 2/3 yet to take their second stop. McLaughlin's the leader over Van Gisbergen and Brody Kostecki. It's a tight battle at the top. Action just recently on the approach into turn 1. The BP Ultimate replay shows Will Power touching the back of Chaz Mostert, ricochets to Anton Di Pasquale, and skittle all 3 cars off into the weeds and the run into turn 1.
And then drove away from the scene of the crime very, very quickly. On board with Todd Hazelwood up here to turn 1. It's a bit loose. Manages to hold on. Remember, $1,000 for the overall round winner, thanks to Armour All, going to the chosen charity of our drivers. At the moment, the overall round leader is Shane Van Gisbergen, and he's driving for Wings for Life. Race leader at the moment is Scott McLaughlin, driving for Camp Quality.
Plus Fitness, Brad Jones Racing entry, car number 14 on screen at the Dipper, 2nd to 3rd gear, and Todd Hazelwood's listening in the background. How are you tracking, mate? You're 15th at the moment, behind Win Cup.
Yeah, mate, I can see the Give You Wings sign clearer than anything. You wouldn't believe it, but I'm a little bit annoyed. I was 2 spots in front of there, but I was in front of Nick, and then I did a pass and I just got pushed wide, so it's pretty easy to get contact, and I just got pushed off. So I'm in a pretty good run here though, so I might try and have a go at Wing Cup.
Tell us when you can just how hard it is to do this.
I don't mind it. I don't know, talk a fair bit with my engineers and stuff. Boy, as I say that, I just do a big slide.
Hold her, baby.
Good, Wing Cup's getting out of my way, that's good.
I reckon you scared him.
I would be too if I saw that in the rear vision mirror, but no, all good. We're pressing on here. The new equipment's doing wonders today, so I'm pretty happy.
Good work, mate. And we've got Nick Percat on screen here as well at the moment, and your teammate sitting in 10th position in the Dunlop Super Dealers entry, car number 8, the yellow Commodore on screen. He's only 75, maybe 100 metres up the road from you, so you might get him, Todd. And we might have a chat to Nick at some stage as well. But you've got to get up there and try and threaten him and torture him a little bit. I want to see a little bit of ag. What do you reckon, Nick?
Mate, yeah, come to it. He actually helped me pass Wing Cup. We boxed him in and then broke early. It was perfect.
You're really entertaining the pooch in the background there too, mate. Heart rate, 35.
I don't know. 35 seems high for that bloke.
Yeah, right.
Nelson the Wonder Dog. Jockey Lab.
That's no way to describe Nick.
All right, side by side here for Jack Smith and Will Power. So we're looking further down the order for these guys. Will Power in position number 19. He's done the 2 stops. So those who have yet to finish their second compulsory pit stop, all of the top 16 at the moment.
Jamie in the wall on the exit of the cutting. So car number 88 pointing in the wrong direction. Has not been a great night for J-Dub, and he's got the other wall as well. Now, I reckon there was a move on for the lead as well, because McLaughlin's gone to the lead while we were having a chat to the boys. Brody Kostecki's gone to second, and Shane Van Gisbergen has actually gone back into third position. And that's Shane just wandering into the pit lane now as we pick up the leaders. How about Jamie Whincup? 4 times the winner here. Oh, Macaulay Jones in trouble. Oh, big time. He's headbutted the inside wall at Forest Elba.
Oh, you can see that coming from a mile off. That is one way to get rid of a supercar in your way. Oh, and another one. Macca is trying to hit everything possible here, and he's doing a very good job of it. And here comes Jamie Whincup, says, I'm going to get out of the way of all this, or I'll end up in the air as well.
I think there's one little bit of concrete there that either Macca or Jamie have not hit. Poor old Jonesy. He's had a shocking run up there. Couldn't get the thing off the wall at the top and then got absolutely belted. Jack LeBrock comes in for his second stop for Super G Racing.
So the question is, when do our leaders at the moment, McLaughlin, Kostecki and co, pull the trigger on their second compulsory stop? It'll take them 25, 26 seconds to go through. They can take on fuel, as you mentioned, in that time, Crompo, without adding any further transit time. So they'll be looking to that 25, 26 second gap mark. At the moment, the gap between Scott McLaughlin, our race leader, and Shane Van Gisbergen, who has done his second pit, is 28.8 seconds. So it's getting towards that margin.
Jack LeBrock has got a pretty handy record in reality at Mount Panorama. He was 4th in 2016. He's had 5 starts, counting last year where he finished in 17th spot. Came into the game tonight, 294 points in 12th. Remember, he was a winner early in the game in race 2 back at Phillip Island. So he's done a nice job for Super Cheap and Tickford Racing as we go back and find Will Davis and Anton Di Pasquale, and we pick up Anton, who I think just rubbed the wall. Wilbur's got it all crossed up, motocross style. How did he survive that? Anton tries to pounce and does, because Will is turning hard right at the dry cleaner after that one. That was about as close as it gets.
A big moment.
That was unbelievable. I mean, that was happening in reality. Oh, my goodness me. And we should point out with a bit of seriousness that Erebus and Penrite have done a nice job tonight honouring those who gave their all in Anzac Day. Obviously, we're not having the march in 2020, and so both the cars 9 and 99 are carrying that special livery tonight. So well done to everybody at Penrite Racing as Scott McLaughlin comes in. And Waters also in the monster car.
I love how the E-Series has just solved the problem of double stacking. Straight through them, virtually. So that was the answer to our question. Lap 10 out of 14 was when the leaders were deciding to have a crack at that second compulsory stop. It puts McLaughlin out in front of Shane Van Gisbergen. There is still 4 drivers yet to do their second stop. They are Brody Kostecki, Andre Heimgartner, Thomas Randall and Todd Hazelwood. Our Pertec pit reporters Chad Nalon and Jonathan Simon on lap 10 out of 14. What's the read, fellas?
Advantage McLaughlin at this stage. They timed that second stop beautifully. Brody Kostecki still the wild card here because he was between these two when the second round of pit stops came up. It was a really quick outlap though from Shane Van Gisbergen, but maybe just a slightly slower pit stop.
Yeah, exactly. He was about 1.5 seconds behind Scott for the lead, and he was going purple through the top of the mountain, and here he is pushing to the absolute limit. But so far, we think Kostecki's going to fall behind in third once everybody makes their pit stops, but he can overtake because he has some great raw speed.
Unless these two have a crack at each other, which is shaping up as a potential down at the chase.
It's a good battle, and we've still got a little bit of time left, so just over 4 laps remaining in this battle. Brodie Kostecki is our leader at the moment. He's got a tiny margin over Andre Heimgartner. So we're working lap 10 of 14. Let's just check it out. Brodie Kostecki's actually just come into the pit lane out of the lead. We're going to do a full lap here with Shane van Gisbergen. On the right-hand side of screen is the race leader, Brodie Kostecki. Wildcard this evening, regularly driving in the Dunlop Super 2 Series. Got off to a ripping start in Adelaide, genuinely at the start of the championship season. Let's ride with Shane, look, listen and learn, and he's got the eyes on at the moment, chasing McLaughlin. And we had a glimpse before of what looked like Anton Di Pasquale in the pit lane on fire, and that's been confirmed. There was some contact, and we're trying to get to the bottom of what that was. Now, this is the run off the top of the hill through the Dipper and down to the left-hander at Forest Elbow, and in the foreground you can see McLaughlin and Van Gisbergen. We're riding with Brodie Kostecki. Thomas Randall's actually the race leader at the moment. He's got just a whisker under 10 seconds over Scott McLaughlin. It's shaping up as a great battle. We've got a little over 3 laps remaining now. 300 kilometres an hour is the peak speed here, and they use this extra metre of apron to open up the turn-in point, and then you've got to get the front of the car in reality and in the iRacing game fully landed to be able to get some brake pressure on, and then you've got to be able to find the exact right moment to be able to trail brake into that corner. Too much of it and you'll carry a lot of brake-induced understeer through the left-hander. This is the final corner at Murray's, and a little bit of a puff of inside front locking for McLaughlin. It's a great battle involving McLaughlin and Van Gisbergen, and Thomas Randall's now come out of the lead of the race into the pit lane for his second and final stop in car number 49 for Sky Sands. So this reveals the true leaders of the race, 1, 2 and 3.
Thomas Randall has rejoined in position 7. So that's the entire field has now done the second and final compulsory pit stop. Lap 12 out of 14 here in race 10 of the BP Supercars All Stars Eseries. Great move from Brodie Kostecki on Shane van Gisbergen. These are our race leaders. It's Scott McLaughlin. Now Kostecki second, Van Gisbergen is third. All of the field has done their 2 compulsory pit stops, so this is flat stick to the end, Crompo. And Anton Di Pasquale on our BP Ultimate Replay has found trouble here on entry, we believe, into pit lane, or on exit, is it? Oh, Mark Winterbottom comes shooting across and takes the front of the Penrite racer, and then Will Davison gets caught up in the back, and there's nowhere to go but to the left-hand side of Mountain Straight and into that concrete wall. He ended up in the pits on fire, so Anton's day is done.
Frosty ended up totally out of shape coming out of the pit lane, and that just tripped over Anton, who had nothing to do with it. So we've got a genuine battle going on now with a little over 2 laps remaining, and I'm puzzled by what happened with Van Gisbergen, because that was unconventional. So he's either carrying a penalty or he just let him go by, but out of turn 2, Van Gisbergen was not at normal race pace there. So sometimes there can be intervention from iRacing, and he might be carrying something from a little bit earlier on, or just let his buddy by. So Brodie's been released somewhat, and he's actually 0.3 of a second behind now. This is a great battle between Heimgartner and Coulthard. That's not easily done. Andre had the right-hand side of the car up on the curbing at the chase. It's 300 kilometres an hour. The cars are quick there. This is the battle for the lead. We're looking down the left-hand side, and the rear wing end plate on Scott McLaughlin's car. There's second place Brodie Kostecki. Brodie's been the setup wizard for all of these cars and drivers for the series thus far in the UASA entry. He's a wild card for this evening, and he might pull off a wild move here because he's quick enough at the moment, lap speed wise, to actually threaten McLaughlin, so much so that Scott has to cover as they make the run into turn 2, braking from 260 kilometres an hour. Third gear out of turn 2 at Griffins. This is a great view of the underbody on McLaughlin's Mustang. It's a little kink through 3 and then a blind approach into 4 second gear. Little hump here in the road is just where you grab third gear and try not to have the back of the car get too upset. And then this beautiful blind brow over the top of the hill where you grab fourth gear and dance it down to the metal grade at 200 kilometres an hour. Have a look at the margins to the right rear of the car to the corner of the concrete. From the top of the curb to the concrete wall was just millimetres.
Now this is game on. This is just like your Bathurst 1000. We get to the end of the day, the final race, the last few laps, and everything goes up a notch. Brodie Kostecki is absolutely flogging this UASA Commodore.
And Scotty had it crossed up through the right-hander in the approach to Forest Elbow then. And because he had it pitched sideways a little, it locked the inside front on the run down towards the elbow. Now he knows that Brodie's a big chance to get a benefit from the toe here, so he's trying to shake him off the back. He's vulnerable. The Holden's tucked right in under the back of the Mustang, and he has a bit of a look at him, and that destabilises the back of McLaughlin, who covers on the inside at the chase. Van Gisbergen could be a beneficiary if this gets too wild. On the direction change, that gear change is difficult there. The cars want to slide in reality and in the game. Murray's corner now, and this time through it's going to be 1 lap remaining. 6.2 kilometres and a great battle going on between McLaughlin and Kostecki, with Van Gisbergen in third place.
This is awesome. Down to turn 1 for the last time tonight. Maybe a little push and shove. Amazing racing. McLaughlin, Kostecki, Van Gisbergen's well and truly in this game on the last lap. Up over the rise, mountain straight, up towards turn 2. Look at Kostecki, he's so aggressive. Leans it out on the left-hand side. We'll try and sneak it in on the right, but McLaughlin's wised up to that. Van Gisbergen waiting to pounce. What a finish. Brodie Kostecki, wild card for this series tonight.
Now that's one of the passing spots that's now being closed off. So sometimes with cooperation from the preceding car, you might get up the inside of the cutting, but there was no gap. McLaughlin was wise to that one. Top of the hill. He's got great pace down to metal grade. He's opened up a margin, McLaughlin, but he runs it so close to the concrete wall on the exit. Look at his hands. Next to no wheel work going on as he tries to glide this Mustang over the top of the hill. Back to third, back to second. Lines it up at the dipper. He's given himself a tiny breather. Brodie was quicker in the first third of the lap. He's lost a tiny bit of ground over the top. On the previous lap, McLaughlin got sideways in the kink. We pick him up at the elbow. He's got a bit of understeer at the elbow, McLaughlin, but it didn't hurt his corner exit speed. He's hung on. Equidistant margins between first, second and third. McLaughlin, Kostecki, Van Gisbergen. He will get the benefit of the draft, Brodie Kostecki. A wild card driver who's already got a couple of Dunlop Super 2 race wins to his name this year. Gets under the back of our dual Virgin Australia Supercars champion. McLaughlin covers. There's nothing in it. They make a bit of contact through the left and right hander. McLaughlin's barely got this thing covered. They make the run to the final corner. Scotty parks it in the middle of the road. He might just hang on. He glides it on the brakes to get there. He just gets it done, but he whacks the wall. And Kostecki is the winner. He locked it up and whacked the wall, McLaughlin. Brodie Kostecki is the winner from Scott McLaughlin and Shane Van Gisbergen. And Brodie Kostecki, 150 points with about 50 metres of racetrack to run out of 6,213, has pulled off a race victory. McLaughlin couldn't believe it. What a turn-up.
150 points and 100% commitment from Brodie Kostecki on that last lap. It had everything, just like real life. That was a breathless lap of Mount Panorama Bathurst. What a victory for Brodie Kostecki. Scott McLaughlin still can't believe it. That last 10 metres cost him. bounced into the wall on exit of Murray's Corner. Still managed to hold on to second spot. Shane van Gisbergen finishes on the podium. Just incredible.
Watch this. So, unbelievable viewpoint. iRacing gives us some more amazing angles. This is a wild dive down the inside. There was a bit of a touch on now. I'm wondering what the viewpoint is going to be in the bunker in Queensland on this one, because it looked as though there was some contact. It doesn't matter, it was great racing. Although McLaughlin's not going to be thrilled about it. He had his hands in the air, and he had a wild finish in Motegi in the Eseries IndyCar race earlier in the week in Japan. So he's already seen some contact this week. It's been indicative of the kind of stuff that we've been seeing. Okay, so deep breath. BP Ultimate results, Mount Panorama, race number 10. And Brodie Kostecki, unofficial inverted, from Scott McLaughlin, followed by Shane van Gisbergen, Cam Waters and Andre Heimgartner, Fabian Coulthard, Thomas Randall, Gary Jacobson, Lee Holdsworth, Will Power, the top 10. What a wild race, Jess.
What a wild race indeed. Crompo, that was absolutely as if it were real life at Mount Panorama.
I sweated up.
Indeed, the intensity, the heart rate was right up there. Let's talk to Scott McLaughlin. Scotty, talk us through what happened at the end there. Did you hit the wall all by yourself or did you have some help?
I don't know. I feel like it was a fair bit of help there. But, it was a good battle, man. I had so much fun. Yeah, Brodie's been quick all week, and I knew I was going to have my work cut out there. So, bit of dogs on dogs and a few bust ups, and had a bit of fun.
So you're expecting to hear from our driving standards observer Craig Baird there, just to set the record straight?
I've already heard from him once tonight on the bad end, so let's end on a positive note, eh, Birdo? What do you reckon?
Well, you were pretty filthy earlier this evening about that, weren't you, Scotty? That earlier penalty.
Oh, yeah, me and Birdo had been texting and whatever. But,
Get into him,
everything
Scotty.
I do, we're competitive and we love it.
Don't text and drive, mate.
So have you got
No, it wasn't while I was driving, trust me. It was after the race.
I'm sure you've had the champagne on ice, so I'm hoping to see a bit of a podium celebration once we get off air.
Yeah, I did last time. So thanks to Deep Tolly, we've got the good wine and we'll have a bit of fun there. So just throw a little sponsor plug in there for you guys. Cheers.
Well done, Scotty. You had the heart rate up, that's for sure. Let's tune into Brodie Kostecki now, who's on the line. Congratulations, Brodie. What was your read on the final part of that race? Is Scotty hit the wall all by himself, or have you got a case to answer?
Did you wind the brake wires back, Scotty, or something?
Oh, I just got a mysterious punt, mate. What's going on there?
Mate, what are you talking about, mate? Your ears are locked hard. Your ears are locked hard, mate.
Okay, mate.
It looked like you guys were having a lot of fun, though, Brodie. Well done tonight. That was so entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I'm glad it is entertaining to watch because it's really good to race with Shane and Scotty. We do this a bit when we have some time, and we've been wanting a race like this, so it was really good that it played out the way it did. So, and credit to all you guys for putting on such a good show, and all my sponsors as well. It was great to be a part of it.
Thanks very much, Brodie. I've just got some breaking news in my ear. I think we've got across to Craig Baird, who has got a ruling for us. Beardo, tell us.
It always gets dumped on me, but at the end of the day, look, there was contact there. Scotty has declared the winner. We're going to swap those two positions back, first and second, but car 17 wins. So you get a little bit of love back today.
Yes, Scotty, you happy with that?
Whee! Yeah, absolutely. Anytime I get the win, that's fun. But sorry, bro. Appreciate it, mate. I'll get you.
No, it's all right. Beto, you're in the bin, mate. You're done.
Oh, well done, gentlemen. That was fun to watch. And congratulations, Scotty. You are the round winner tonight, which means $1,000 goes to your charity of choice, Camp Quality. Definitely spray the champagne now.
Yep, I might go have a champers with Carly. She deserves the amount of time on this thing. So we'll go have a bit of fun. Thanks, guys.
Very good. Thanks, Scotty. All right, Crompo and Matty, you're going to run us through the race highlights. Good luck dissecting those.
You said to us at the start of the night, what could possibly go wrong? We've got all these guys at Bathurst. Well, everything can and did. The Koala race highlights. Fabian Coulthard off the front row of the grid after winning the middle race of the evening. So this was a longer one. And, of course, it was going to unfold just as we thought it would. Contact left, right and centre. And at this circuit, with these kind of races, and we'll these kind of competitors, everything takes its course as it normally does down here at the elbow. Poor old Will Davison was just sideways and stuck motionless until Will Power got into him. This is Todd Hazelwood. And then you watch an arrival on the outside there. That was the Mobil 1 Middies car of Bryce Forward. Will Power, left, right, and then drove away from that scene. Speaking of left, right, Macaulay Jones went left, right, upside down, and backwards, forwards, any way you want to pick at Forest Elbow.
And it'd be the world's worst place to try and manoeuvre the car. And what about Mark Winterbottom coming out of the pit lane there in the Irwin Racing entry, and he was ricocheting off the walls like it was a game of snooker. But what about the finish of this motor race? Virtual or real, it was fantastic. A tremendous battle to Murray's corner, and we thought, wow, was there contact between Brodie and Scott? Turned out that there was, so the Grim Reaper spoke. Craig Baird said, we're going to change that result. I mean that with a lot of love, Beardo, you know that. But great racing, and it was great to see the spirit of camaraderie between all three of those competitors. And Shane loves being in this as well. So I mean, he was texting me earlier in the day, bluing about there being young blokes. He's only 30, going fast. So look, lots of fun and a great way to spend a couple of hours celebrating supercar racing.
Yeah, awesome final lap, wasn't it? I mean, you just saw the attitude of the cars, the attitude of the drivers, and we had, Scotty McLaughlin and Shane Van Gisbergen fighting it out, and then Brodie in the middle thought he got the race victory, and then straight down. And
Brodie pulled some pretty cool stuff earlier in the year in reality, so don't for a minute think that this guy's not a fully capable race driver. So in the Dunlop Super 2 Series, he's leading, he's had a couple of victories so far, and he is going to be a man to watch in the future, no question. He made a start last year in the Great Race, and we're looking forward to seeing his career evolve.
Indeed, whether it's in real life or virtually, Bathurst always delivers, doesn't it? We've had a lot of fun. Thanks, Maddie. Thanks, Neil. We look forward to round 4. We head to Watkins Glen and Montreal. It is our North American round, which should be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to that.
Thanks, guys. See you then.
Thanks, Jess.
And that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week for round 4.